What I'm about to make right now is a one-pot chicken shawarma rice. However, that is technically a lie because a shawarma refers to one of the big fat lumps of chicken chilling on one of them skewer machine things, and then a guy with absolute skills comes and just starts trimming bits away. So two problems with that. First thing is I do not have the facilities to accommodate such a big machine. And secondly, even if I did, I'm an average guy with average skills, which means that I don't have the ability to trim bits away. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna get the flavors that's in these big fat lumps of chicken shawarma spinning on this machine thing and then extract it and put it into some chicken thigh pieces, chicken drumsticks. And then we use the flavors to cook the chicken in a pan and then make the one pot rice like pilau. Now, if you've never had pilau before, it's basically pilau. And then to finish it off, guys, we'll put some salad and stuff on the side. Okay, let's get into it. So we're going to start with the rice. I've got long grain basmati rice by this Layla brand, and I'm going to pour 1.5 mugs of that. Now, I always prefer using like mug measurements, but if you're someone that wants to use cup measurements, feel free to do so. But here's the main difference. So a standard mug is around 300 ml. And if you're one of them people that is fortunate to have these measuring cups, the largest one here right at the top is 250 ml, which is 1 cup. So the only difference is like 50 ml. Make sense? Okay, very simple. So I'm gonna go wash this about 3 times until the water runs clear, and then I'm gonna let it soak in some water. Now in the meantime, I'm gonna cut slits into some chicken pieces. Now I got 3 thighs and 5 drumsticks. If you can fit more in the pan, you can fit more in the pan, but I didn't have sufficient space because I'm gonna be putting rice in there as well. Again, these slices are optional, but it does help with the flavor seeping into the entire chicken pieces. So we're going to start with Greek yogurt. You can use natural yogurt if you want. I'm going to go 3 tablespoons. I don't usually use like the cup measurement stuff. I use like tablespoons like that, old school. And then I got plenty of garlic. I got like, I think 12, 13, 14 cloves because they're tiny. So if you can find bigger ones, just go like 6 cloves. But plenty of garlic. We're going to grate them all in, and we're going to lemon. Now with the lemon, I do this because it breaks up all the fibers on the inside. There's no science to it. It's just basic physics. Anyways, you're going to squeeze the juice inside and any seeds that manage to get through, put it in bin. And then we're going to do a large pinch of sea salt. Now, I don't, again, do like table salt, but you can maybe do 1.5 teaspoons. And then we're going to do 1.5 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and then we're going to do the spices. So first we got 1.5 teaspoons of cumin powder, 2 teaspoons of coriander powder, 3/4 teaspoon of black pepper powder, 3/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 2 teaspoons of normal paprika, and 1/2 teaspoon of cardamom powder. I'm going to add all of that in and then generously sprinkle some parsley in there. Now, okay, I don't even know why I said generously. I don't use that word often. But you're going to put that in and then we're going to go in with our hands. Now, I know people are going to say, where's your gloves, bro? Bro, I'm feeding myself. Why the hell do I need gloves? Where your hands been? So you're going to mix that properly and set it aside for marination at the marination station for about 30 minutes at least. And then we're going to start prepping the veg. So I'm going to dice some onion. Big chunks-ish, kind of, like this. I thought I could handle it. Very powerful onions. And then when that's done, we're going to start on this red bell pepper. Now you can go green, yellow, red, whatever, but cut them into chunks like this. I got 1 whole pepper. Now once you've done all that, we're going to start the cooking process. By the way, that pan is a very good pan. You should invest in it. I use it for everything. Anyway, my flipping oil almost finished, so I've got 2 tablespoons of oil. Let that heat up and we're going to put the chicken in. Now with the chicken, we're going to go around 2 to 3 minutes on each side. Basically, we're trying to get that char, but I moved it a bit so it doesn't stick. And then once I flip it, I'll show you what you want it to kind of look like. So you're not going to finish cooking it in the pan. You're going to finish cooking it in the oven. So once you've got a bit of brownness like that, do another 2 to 3 minutes. You might have to drop the heat a bit. And then we're going to get the chicken pieces and we're going to put it in the baking tray. Now, I forgot to tell you that you might want to preheat the oven for 5 minutes on gas mark 4. I don't know what the calculation is for this in degrees, but I'm sure you can figure it out. Now, all of this stuff left behind, don't get rid of it. You're going to splash some oil in there, put the onion in, and then we're going to like deglaze the pan. Basically, all of that from the chicken is going to seep into the onions and that's going to flavor the rice. Levels of flavor, guys. So I'll add a bit of water in there and let that cook for about 5 to 6 minutes. You don't want to add any salt because that's going to break down the onions. You want the onions to get a tiny bit browned but crisp. And then we're going to add the pepper and then the salt and then cook that for another 5 minutes. You don't want everything to go like soft. Especially the pepper, because you want that to finish cooking with the rice. And then you're going to add a knob of butter and let that melt through. And then we're going to add a tiny bit of seasoning. So black pepper. I like a lot of pepper, so I'm going to add a lot of pepper. But if you don't like a lot of pepper, don't add a lot of pepper. Also, you're going to do like 3/4 teaspoon of turmeric. And then you can add a splash of water if you need. Cook that through for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then at this point, we're going to drain the rice and add the soaked rice into the pan. Cook that for about 2 to 3 minutes. We're toasting it a bit. We're not going to let it cook too long, about 2 minutes. And then the most important part of cooking rice, the water. Now I put in 1.5 mugs of rice, remember. So I'm going to do 1.5 mugs of water and a small splash more. That's it. That's how I do. I do 1-to-1 ratio and a splash more, but I always put in boiling water because then it comes up to heat quicker. So boiling water in, large pinch of salt, keep it on high heat and keep stirring it for about 2 to 3 minutes until all of the rice starts soaking up the water and it ends up looking like this. When it ends up looking like that and all the water has evaporated, you can turn off the heat. And at this point, we're just gonna get ready for steaming the entire thing. So get a bit of foil. You actually don't need the foil, but get the foil, place the chicken pieces on top of the rice, and you're gonna let all of that steam together. So once you've done all of this, you're gonna get the foil, you're gonna place it on top. Also, be careful. It was hot. So once you've done that, I'm gonna also get tablecloth, put that on top. Now again, you could just skip the foil, you could put the tablecloth on top, but then the cloth gets dirty and I can't be bothered with that. So foil, cloth, lid tightly fit, that's why you push it down, and then fold the cloth up so it doesn't burn basically when it's on heat. Put it on low heat and let that steam for about, I would say 15 to 20 minutes. I went 20 minutes. Now in the meantime, we're gonna prep like a yogurt garlic sauce because this kind of adds contrast to the dish. So I've got 4 tablespoons of Greek yogurt, 1 garlic clove grated, a small lemon wedge. Add that in. You can also actually roast the garlic before you're putting it in. Adds more flavour. Then we're going to prep some parsley. Now, this parsley, some of it's going to go in the rice and some in the sauce, like that. Once you've done that, you're going to add a sprinkle of salt, a sprinkle of pepper. But I mixed it and I thought, maybe I should add a tiny bit of sugar because I'm not adding mayo. I'm not making like a mayo-y sauce. I want like a yogurty sauce because I want to provide like a refreshing contrast to the dish. So then we're going to chop up some cucumber, some tomato. So well, basically this is just going to go on the side. So remove the tomato booty hole, and then we're going to remove the guts of the tomato because that's going to make everything watery if you don't get rid of that. And you're going to dice the tomato. So we've got cucumber, tomato, and we're also going to do like maybe a quarter of an onion. Don't need a lot because they can be quite zingy. So I'm going to dice that. I'm just going to put that to the side. And then once that's done, we're going to go back to the rice. Now this is very important, guys. After steaming it for 20 minutes on low heat, you want to let it sit for at least 15 minutes. At least 15 minutes. You can do longer, but 15 minutes works well, and then it should look like this. Now at this point, like I said, it is done, but you're going to get the chopped parsley that you prepped earlier, and you're going to put that all on top. And this is the final product, guys. Look at that, beautiful. So you can obviously serve this out, and what I'm going to do is fluff up the rice. That's what you're going to do, fluff it all up. Look at that, nothing sticking together, all fluffy. That's exactly how you want it. Now when you prep this entire thing, you want to be quite balanced. So I've gone rice, chicken, onion, tomato, cucumber, lemon, parsley, and then that yogurt sauce going to go on top. And that's it, guys. This is final product 2.0. Okay guys, now that the dish is done, I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks on how to make this entire thing perfect. So the first thing is we're going to start with the rice. So I use a ratio of 1-to-1. So 1 mug of rice to 1 mug of water. Now you can use anything you want, but this is what works for me. I use basmati rice as well. But what I also do on top of the ratio is I do 1 mug of rice, 1 mug of water, and then I add a splash more. So in this entire recipe, I did 1.5 mugs of rice and then 1.5 mugs of water and then a splash more. Like a little bit, not like a half a mug more. Like a splash more, and that works for me perfect all the time. Now the second thing is how to cook the rice. So first thing I do is I soak the rice, which is technically what you do for pilau, and then I put the rice in and then I cook it on high heat with the water until it all absorbs, turn the heat off, and then let it steam for 20 minutes. I'm just saying this is what works for me, so that's why I use it. So that's the second point. Now the third point is with the chicken. You can use any type of chicken. I use chicken thigh and drumstick because they're a bit more succulent. But you can use breast if you want to be a bit more lean, healthy and things like that. But it's going to be a tiny bit drier, shall I say. Now the fourth point I'm going to make is make sure you get yourself a good pan, like a decent pan. You can use anything like this. So I've got that one. Or you can use a deeper dish. It's there under like 4 other pans, so I'm not going to get it out and show you. But anything works. Like this pan is very good. I use it for everything, curries and everything like that. Guys, I don't even know what point I'm on right now, but the next point I want to make is the sauce. I keep it a very yogurty sauce instead of like a mayo kind of sauce because it kind of contrasts the dish in a nice way because everything's like it's got vegetables, it's got chicken, it's got rice. That on top of just like this yogurty sauce is preferred over like a mayo kind of sauce. But again, you are entitled to do whatever the hell you want because I am not your father. Now the final point I'm going to make is going all the way back to like the first 2 points to do with the rice. Use boiling water. Because the last thing you want to do is you toast the rice and then you put water in, but it's cold water, and then you got to bring it all back up to heat, and then it messes with the entire, cooking process of it all. So what you want to do instead is you want to make sure the water's boiling, and then as soon as you put it in, you crank the heat up to like a high, medium high. You want to start bubbling quite soon after, like 10-15 seconds after. And that's about it. That's all the bits of advice I'm going to give you. Now, it is kind of adaptable, meaning you can add more spices into the rice. I only put turmeric into it. You can put a bit more, let's say you can put cayenne pepper in it if you want a bit more heat. So yeah, you can kind of play around with this dish. At the end of the day, you're eating it, not me. So make it so that you like it. Okay? Also, guys, I just want to reiterate that my curry cookbook is out. It's called The Curriculum, and it's basically for people like me that want to cook something once and then enjoy it across 4 or 5 different meals with like rice, chapatis, and things like that. Very efficient cooking. So it's linked in my profile, also in the description. Go get it, you won't be disappointed, and I'll see you in the next video.